When the nurse swapped the girl's wristband and was about to take her away, the parents, who were flirting with each other, suddenly heard the girl's inner voice, "Mom, help me. I'm about to be swapped." The two of them looked up sharply. They looked around, completely confused. "Stop looking around, you two. Look at me. Look at your daughter. I'm about to be swapped by someone. Once I'm swapped, Dad's childhood sweetheart will come over, crying and saying Mom cheated. When that time comes, you'll take the fake child for a DNA test. And Mom, you won't be able to clear your name even if you jumped into the Yellow River. Then the childhood sweetheart will take me to do a DNA test with Dad, and Dad will think she has his child. Mom and Dad will grow apart because of the suspicion. Actually, nothing ever happened between Dad and that childhood sweetheart. Dad got drunk before, and the sweetheart planned to take advantage of him. But she was called away by her lover at the last minute. But Dad doesn't remember. When Dad sees the child, he'll misunderstand what happened that day." Dad's expression darkened. He stood up immediately, blocking the nurse who was carrying the child out of the delivery room. "Wait, where are you taking our child? Oh my God. Dad, you finally opened your eyes. You finally noticed." Dad was speechless. Who said a daughter is a sweet little angel? His daughter's tongue was absolutely poisonous. Mom also came back to her senses. She had just given birth, and her body was still very weak, but she forced herself to sit up. "Where are you taking our daughter? What nonsense are you talking about? This is someone else's child, not yours." "No, look at the wristband." "Look at what?" "The wristband was swapped ages ago." Mom's face turned grim. "My daughter has a birthmark on her bottom. Let us see." Without a word, Dad snatched her over and glanced at his daughter's bottom. "Even babies have dignity. Woo-woo. My bottom is no longer private. This is indeed our child. What do you have to say for yourself?" Dad's voice was cold and deep, scaring the nurse silly. She hurriedly explained, I'm sorry. Maybe I took the wrong one when I was bathing the baby. I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry." The nurse also knew that it was impossible to take the girl away now. "Humph, you clearly swapped it yourself. This baby felt it all. Even though I was just born. And my eyes aren't very clear yet. When the nurse swapped it, I could still feel the touch, okay? Check the surveillance. There are cameras where the babies are bathed," Dad said coldly. The blood drained from the nurse's face. She staggered back a step, knelt on the ground, and said, "I'll talk. I'll tell you everything." "Hey, wait." Another colleague of hers ran out. "Did you get the wristband wrong? What's going on?" The colleague had just looked at the wristband and felt the name didn't match the child. So she came out. She didn't expect to see her colleague kneeling on the ground. Joja said to the nurse, "Come with me." He randomly made a call to get someone to accompany Mom back to the ward. Mom was afraid to sleep. She sat by the bed, staring at the girl, terrified she would be swapped again. "Oh, Mom. Why is she staring at me like that? I'm getting shy." Muan almost couldn't hold back a laugh. She didn't know why, but she could hear her daughter's inner thoughts. And it seemed her husband could hear them too. No matter what, this was her child. Even if hearing her thoughts was bizarre, she would never hurt her own baby. Mom reached out and poked the girl's little cheek. "My darling, you must grow up happy and healthy. Mom, don't worry. As long as you and Dad stay together, I won't suffer a day in this life. After all, my dad is seriously rich." On the other side, Joja looked grim. After hearing the nurse's confession, he felt it was unbelievable. He didn't expect he could actually hear his daughter's inner voice, and everything she said was true. All of this was orchestrated by his childhood sweetheart, Lin Shinro. But why? Didn't she already have a child with someone else? Born on the same day as Wanwan's? Why would she do this? Dad had someone call the police to take the nurse away. With her character, she definitely couldn't stay at the hospital anymore. Just then, Dad's phone rang. He picked it up and heard Grandpa scolding, "Joja. You bastard. You got someone pregnant and had a child. And you didn't even bring her back for us to see. Are you not planning to take responsibility? How did our Zhou family produce such a scoundrel like you?" Old Master Zhou scolded him relentlessly. Joja didn't dare to make a sound. Back when he was with Muwan, his parents were firmly against it. Muwan was an orphan. It was said that the orphanage director told her that when she was just born, she was abandoned at the orphanage gate. Such a poor background. Couldn't provide any help to Joja. His parents wanted him to marry Lin Shinro, but he only felt brotherly care for her. There was absolutely no romantic feeling. Joja had a huge fight with his parents. They even cruelly cut him off financially. But Joja was ambitious. He struggled and built a future together with Muwan. Now, he was the owner of a small company. Though it didn't compare to the Zhou group, it was enough for the two of them to live a wealthy life. Only then did they decide to have a child. Even though he hadn't brought Mom home, Dad had registered their marriage long ago. After Grandpa finished scolding, he heard it was a girl. "Her name is Zhou Cici, right? Have you given her a nickname yet? Once Muwan is feeling better, bring the family of 3 back. Forget it, just wait at the hospital. I'm coming over now with your grandmother." Joja looked puzzled. When his elder brother got married and had kids, the old master wasn't nearly this enthusiastic. When Joja returned to the ward, Muwan was breastfeeding. Zhou Cece was held in her arms. But her heart was filled with tears. To think that I, the famous metaphysics grandmaster of my past life, has been reduced to drinking milk here. Woo-woo. But it's actually quite sweet. The two parents looked at each other. A flash of shock passed through their eyes. It was simply because when Muwan was pregnant, she had encountered a Taoist priest. At that time, the priest bowed to her belly and muttered something about a celestial master. When the celestial master descends, everything can be saved, everything can be saved. At that time, neither of them took it seriously, thinking the man was just a rambling eccentric. Speaking of that priest, he also mentioned something about a Xinshua temple. Xinshua temple was a name they had never heard before. Is it a Taoist temple? Because they usually didn't pay much attention to such things, they really couldn't recall where there was such a temple. Could it be that their daughter was really sent by the heavens? The two suppressed the doubts in their hearts. Muwan asked Zhouja, did the nurse talk? Zhou Cece, who was originally getting sleepy, immediately perked up at those words, pricking up her little ears to hear the gossip. Dad suppressed a smile and nodded. She confessed everything. It was Lin Shinro who paid her to do it. I don't know why she would do that. That is clearly her child with someone else. Why must she force it onto me? Why else could it be? The father of Lin Shinro's child is in jail for something. She doesn't want the child to have a criminal for a father, so she set her sights on you. Who told you to be so rich and so gullible? Roasts from one's own daughter are the most lethal. Muwan looked at Zhouja with some sympathy. Actually, what her daughter said wasn't wrong. The main thing is her family didn't approve of her being with that man. But the child was already born and she loved that man deeply. So she could only let you take the fall. After she uses me for the DNA test, she would swap me back, allowing her own child to live in the Zhou family. What a truly sinister heart. Zhouja's face turned green. Who would take advantage of someone like that? Isn't that just breaking up my family? Wanwan thought, luckily I don't have a childhood sweetheart. Too scary. Zhouja didn't want to be mocked by Cece anymore and quickly changed the subject. By the way, Grandpa said he's coming over later. Now it was Muwan's turn to be stunned. Has he? Don't they dislike me? Why would they come? Great-grandpa is just someone with a sharp tongue but a soft heart. Back when Dad first started his business, Great-grandpa secretly gave a lot of support behind the scenes. Otherwise, with how much Dad argued with the family, how would outsiders dare to cooperate with him? Great-grandpa doesn't actually dislike Mom. Actually, Great-grandpa even tried to persuade Great-grandma. But Great-grandma wouldn't listen to him. They were just listening to Cece's inner voice. And then Old Master Zhou arrived. Old Master Zhou is now over 80 years old. But he still looked very sharp and cold. He walked quickly to the cradle and looked at the little baby inside. Cece was only a few days old, her pink little eyes trying hard to stay open. Sensing someone was looking at her, she lifted her little hand. Old Master Zhou's heart completely melted. He gently touched Cece's tiny hand. The little thing looked not even as big as a few of his fingers. Cece worked hard to grab onto one of his fingers, her mouth going oh-ah, making soft sounds. Good girl, our baby is so cute. Old Master Zhou looked at Zhouja nearby. Have you thought of a nickname for our darling? Muwan spoke up, Grandpa. Not yet. We were thinking of asking you to help choose one. The grandpa's face softened a bit. Wanner, it's been hard on you. Get some good rest. If you need anything, just say so. I'll have to think carefully about this nickname. Old Master Zhou decided to give it some deep thought but was pushed aside by old Mrs. Zhou. Let me see our darling. So cute. Old Mrs. Zhou had never had a daughter in her whole life, so she absolutely adored girls. The Zhou family hadn't had a girl for 5 generations. That's why Old Master Zhou was so excited. When he was younger, because he didn't have a daughter, his old war comrades used to tease him that the Zhou family only had sons. Now, he wished he could take Cece to visit every single house. To tell them, look, it's not that our Zhou family can only have boys. We can also have a smart and cute daughter. Old Mrs. Zhou liked her more and more as she looked. She took a card out of her bag. This was so sudden. I didn't even have time to go to the mall. Gold locks and things like that. I'll get them for our darling once you're back home. Take this card for now. We can't let our darling lack anything. Old Mrs. Zhou stuffed a black card into Muwan's hand. There is 10 million in here. Wanwan, I know you don't care much for money. But this money is for our darling. Just keep it for her. How much? Keep it, Mom, keep it for me. If you refuse, I'll definitely cry for you to see. That's my money. Muwan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She didn't know why. Neither she nor her husband were that obsessed with money. So why was their daughter such a little money grubber? Alright, Mom. Then I'll accept it on behalf of our darling. Don't worry, I'll save this money for her. I definitely won't use it. These words were meant for Cece. Cece giggled in her heart. Mom, even if you used it, I wouldn't say anything. You're my most beloved mom. Muwan's heart felt warm. Of course she wouldn't use her daughter's money. But her daughter's willingness to let her use it was a sweet gesture. I think we should call her Man. It implies our darling will have a life full of happiness, full of wealth, and full of good luck. A life that is perfect and wonderful. That's a name. Thank you, Grandpa. Muwan and Zhozha exchanged a glance. Man. Old Master Zhou was very happy. Man also happily waved her little fist. The meaning of this name is great. I like it. Old Master Zhou was stunned for a moment. Then he said to Muwan, Wanner. Xiaozha's parents are unreasonable. Don't lower yourself to their level. How about this, move back to the old manor. Just consider it as keeping me company, and let me spend time with Man. Muwan looked at Zhozha. Zhozha said, Grandpa. Let me discuss it with Wan. Old Master Zhou nodded. Give us an answer tonight. If you agree, I'll come pick you up tomorrow. Old Master Zhou was old after all, and was starting to feel a bit tired. He looked at Man one last time, reluctantly. Man, Grandpa. We'll come see you again tomorrow. Man waved her little fist in response. Something's not right. Why do I feel a bad aura coming from Great-Grandpa? Man twitched her nose. This is the scent of evil energy. It seems to be coming from Great-Grandpa's chest area. Is Great-Grandpa wearing a jade pendant? How should I warn Mom and Dad? Great-Grandpa, wearing this pendant for too long will be fatal. Muwan and Zhozha looked at each other. Zhozha nodded slightly. Grandpa. I'll see you out. Great-Grandpa and Great-Grandma looked at each other. Actually, they had also heard Man's inner thoughts. It's just that at first, they thought they had misheard. Now it seemed. It wasn't a mistake. Man really had spoken. And it looked like Xiaozha and Xiaowan could hear her too. Zhozha escorted Old Master Zhou downstairs. Grandpa, are you wearing a jade pendant? Old Master Zhou feigned surprise. How did you know? Zhozha thought for a moment and said, you might not believe it. But I studied with a Taoist for a while before. I can see a massive black energy on your chest. It should be coming from that jade pendant. I suggest you throw it away. You already knew I wouldn't believe it if you said it out loud. And you're still talking? If it weren't for hearing Man's thoughts, Old Master Zhou would have really given him a hard time. Alright, I understand. Old Master Zhou pulled out the jade pendant and tossed it to him. You deal with it for me. Zhozha was confused. Does Grandpa believe me just like that? Grandpa, you really believe me? Zhozha didn't even believe his own words. What, were you lying to me? Old Master Zhou glanced at him. Zhozha rubbed his nose. It's just, I didn't expect you to believe me. I'm doing this for Man's sake. After saying that, Old Master Zhou helped old Mrs. Zhou into the car. Alright. Go back, no need to see us off. Zhozha went back up with the pendant. Man's influence is truly powerful. He didn't dare to just throw it away. What if someone else picked it up and got hurt? Zhozha thought. He should find a Taoist temple, to see if the masters there could handle it. In the car at this time, old Mrs. Zhou used the remote to lower the partition. Old man, did you hear it? I think I heard Man talking. Old Master Zhou was a founding general who had seen great storms. He wasn't surprised. He wasn't surprised by this. This is a secret we must keep. It seems that only we, Xiaozha, and Wan can hear Man's inner thoughts. The medical staff can't hear them. Old Mrs. Zhou was a bit worried. If outsiders find out about Man's ability, they might think she's a monster. Worse, they might kidnap her for dissection. The more old Mrs. Zhou thought, the more worried she became. Old man, you must think of a way. Man is our only great-granddaughter. We can't let her be harmed. Since she came to the Zhou family, even if Man were a peach blossom spirit, we would still protect her. The Zhou family hadn't had a baby girl for years, and one finally arrived. It's a blessing from heaven. So she must be properly pampered. Don't worry, I'll find a way. Old Master Zhou patted his wife's hand reassuringly. Leave it to me. No one will harm Man. He paused, then added, that jade pendant was given to me by Tianyu. Zhou Tianyu was his third son's son. Old Mrs. Zhou sighed. The Zhou family business is growing bigger and bigger. The grandchildren have varying levels of ability. You give more power to the capable ones, so the weaker ones will inevitably think you're biased. But to do something like this, it's truly heartless. Old Master Zhou snorted coldly. Our family has always been merit-based. If you lack strength, then go study more. As for these underhanded methods, I'll see what the third son has to say. Back in the hospital ward, Zhozha held the jade pendant and finished explaining. I saw Grandpa's pendant was beautiful, so I asked him if I could have it to play with. Is my CEO dad really this self-destructive? Dad, of all things you could play with, you choose a jade pendant with a bloody aura? What, do you want to die within a year? Hurry and take that pendant to a famous local temple. Otherwise, in a few days, you'll feel short of breath and chest tightness, leading to a slow death. Is it still in time if I get rid of it now? I originally planned to take it to a temple anyway. I just haven't had the time yet. Sigh, other people's CEOs are also composed and steady. Why is my dad so dim-witted? My dad is also a CEO, after all. Hearing Man's disdainful words, Zhozha felt frustrated. My dear daughter, your dad is only 27, okay? I'm very young. How could I have the same personality as those old fogies? Muwan turned her head away, stifling a laugh, her shoulders shaking. Ha ha ha, Zhozha. You finally met your match. She had wanted to say it before, but he was her own choice of a husband after all. Besides, she liked Zhozha's innocence. Zhozha immediately took out his phone to search for temples. He found a good one. Holding the jade pendant, he walked out. Wife, I'm going out for a bit. There's a caregiver here. So it'll be fine if he's gone for a while. Joja hurried out of the hospital, preparing to check out the nearby Feha temple. Right at the hospital gate, he bumped into that Taoist priest again. The priest looked up at him, his gaze falling on his hand. Why don't you just give that jade pendant to me? I can resolve the evil energy on it. Master, what you said before. Before he could finish, Joja was stunned. Shoo, heaven's secrets must not be revealed. The priest interrupted, when the time is right. We will naturally meet again. This priest is so mysterious. Who on earth is he? Joja was full of doubt. Late at night, Man was sleeping soundly, but suddenly sensed a dangerous aura. She opened her eyes, and although her vision was blurry, she could see a vague silhouette. It looked like a person full of malice towards her. A woman reached out and picked Man up. She immediately screamed in her heart, help. Mom, help. Someone is trying to harm me. Dad, if I still had my powers, why would I be afraid of you? Trying to take my life while I'm down, eh? Man's heart was racing with fear. Muwan was already a light sleeper, so she woke up instantly. The moment she looked up, she saw a woman who had already picked up Man. Seeing Muwan wake up, the woman suddenly gave her an eerie smile. She raised Man as if she was about to smash her on the ground. No. Man was so scared her heart felt like it would jump out. Muwan rushed to catch her, but her body was still very weak. She tumbled to the floor as soon as she got out of bed. Luckily, Joja also woke up. He caught Man. Hubby, you scared me to death. I almost fell to my death. Wha, this baby's heart is about to jump out. Click. The lights in the room turned on. Muwan staggered as she got up and pulled Man tightly into her arms. Her tears fell uncontrollably. Joja glared fiercely at the woman with the distorted face before him. Lin Shinro sneered. I originally just wanted to swap the two babies. But who told her to wake up and see me? Madwoman. Joja took out his phone and called the police immediately. Lin Shinro, however, was undeterred. I've already broken the cameras in this room. Who can prove what I did? My child has a criminal for a father. Why should your child have a bright future? What kind of twisted logic is this? Your child doesn't have a bright future? Isn't that caused by you and your husband? What does that have to do with my parents? Muwan completely agreed. She had barely met this Lin Shinro a few times. Just because Lin Shinro's child's life was bad, she was going to blame her? It was simply nonsensical. Utterly unreasonable. Joja shielded his wife and daughter. Whether your child lives well or not, you should ask yourself. Lin Shinro wouldn't listen. Why is it that she can have a loving husband and a cute child, despite coming from a background with nothing? Why am I, a person with so much money, stuck loving a man who doesn't love me? I bore him a child, while he's out there drinking and fooling around. It's one thing that Muwan lives better than me, but why should her daughter be better than my daughter in the future too? Joja spoke up, if he doesn't love you. Lin Shinro's expression suddenly turned gentle. I love his father. For the sake of us being childhood friends, you should be my child's father. Help me. I don't even have to marry you. As long as your child and my child are swapped, that's enough. Ha ha ha. You're picking on the weak because it's easy. You can't let go of that man. Yet you want us to pay for your mistakes? And you even want to involve my daughter? You're insane. It is absolutely impossible to swap. Give it up. By this time, the hospital staff had arrived, and they took her away. Joja, I hate you. I thought of you as a good friend, yet you won't even help me with such a small favor. She was still shouting even as she was being led away. Am I some kind of doormat? Muwan gave Joja a pitying look. You used to always tell me that there weren't many sincere people in that friend group of yours. I thought you were lying back then. Now I believe you. Joja didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Lin Shinro was taken away, and her daughter was sent back to the Lin family. She was Lin family blood after all. The Lin family couldn't just abandon her. After this incident, Muwan and Joja made a decision. Taking Man back to the old mansion would be much safer than staying in the hospital. Hearing they were willing to return, Old Master Zhou sent for top-tier nursery specialists and pediatricians to be on standby. As soon as Man arrived at the mansion, Old Master Zhou and Old Mrs. Zhou spent every day doting on their precious darling. Muwan couldn't even get a chance to hold her own daughter. Joja's tone was sour. This is clearly my daughter. Yet I haven't even held her a few times yet. Isn't it the truth? I haven't held her much either. Wan, you're in the critical postpartum recovery period right now. Focus on resting your body. Don't worry, once you're out of your recovery month, we won't fight you for Man. We'll definitely let you hold her all you want. Your body has just started to improve, so don't overwork yourself. Rest as much as you can, okay? By the time I'm out of recovery, they'll be used to her. Then they'll be the only ones holding her. Ho ho, Mom, I'm so moved. Grandma, thank you. I'll definitely take care of my health. Joja leaned in with a grin. Grandma, I don't need to do postpartum recovery. Let me hold Man. When the great-grandmother looked at Joja, her smile faded slightly. Don't you have to go to work? If you don't work to earn money, what will my great-granddaughter eat in the future? Great-grandma is right, Dad. Whether I can live a life of luxury in the future depends all on you. You're only in your 20s. You need to work hard. Your 20s are the prime age for striving. You little heartless girl, is dad not as important as money? This little silk jacket of a daughter is a bit drafty, huh? Enough. If you don't want to work, go accompany your wife. Learn from me. When your grandmother was in recovery, I was right by her side serving her. For a woman, this recovery period must be done right. Go on, help your wife and man rest. Hee hee hee. Zhozha had no choice but to help Muwan away. A moment later, the butler pushed in a pile of toys. Master, everything you asked for is here. Man, do you like this rattle? He shook the sand hammer as he spoke. The sand hammer made a rustling sound. Old Master Zhou then realized Man was only a few days old. She couldn't play with these things at all. Haha, let's look at these cards then. I can't see clearly. My eyes haven't even fully developed yet, Great-Grandpa. It's my fault. Then Great-Grandpa will tell you a story. Old Master Zhou picked up a fairy tale book and began reading to Man. During this month, Old Master Zhou kept the news on lockdown. No one knew that Zhozha, his wife, and Man had returned to the mansion. Not until Man's full moon banquet was being prepared. Only then did Old Master Zhou send out invitations, inviting various dignitaries to the house. It was only then that Zhozha's parents found out that their son had a baby. Zhozha's father, Zhou Jiangwo, called Old Master Zhou. Dad, for something this big, how could you hide it from us along with Xiaoxia? Don't you have any self-awareness? If you hadn't disagreed with them being together back then, would I only just now have a great-granddaughter? If you had agreed back then, they would have had Man ages ago. Old Master Zhou blamed the late birth of his great-granddaughter entirely on his son. They were the ones who took their time, yet he blames me? Wait, a great-granddaughter? Zhou Jiangwo's tone was full of excitement. Dad, Xiaoxia's child is a girl? Yes. Humph. If you hadn't delayed them, Man would be running around by now. Yes, it's all my fault. If I hadn't delayed them, I would have had a granddaughter long ago. Dad, I'll come over tomorrow. No. I'm coming over right now. Old Master Zhou immediately snapped at him. Did I say you could come now? You are not allowed to come until the day of the full moon banquet. Spend these few days properly preparing the gifts for Man. What a joke. If I let them come now, they'll just try to snatch Man away. No way. Not a chance. Not even a crack in the window for Zhou Jiangwo's grievances. But Man is my granddaughter. Old Master Zhou barked a sharp laugh, a sinister chuckle. Tell me, if Man finds out you didn't allow her parents to be together, will she still acknowledge you as her grandfather in the future? Dad. Before Zhou Jiangwo could finish, Old Master Zhou hung up the phone. Zhou Jiangwo gripped his phone. Speechless. Chen Fenghua, who was beside him, asked, Did the old master let you go over? Let me tell you, I'm not going. So what if they had a boy? Our family has plenty of boys. I don't care to see him. I haven't even accepted that daughter-in-law yet. Zhou Jiangwo looked at her silently for a moment, and then said, Wan gave birth to a daughter. The sneer on Chen Fenghua's face froze. A daughter? Wan gave birth to a daughter? Chen Fenghua's eyes instantly lit up. From the first time I saw her, I felt our son wasn't good enough for Wan. Look, if it wasn't for Wan, could he have had a daughter? Hubby, when are we going over? A daughter. That's a soft, precious little princess. Even though she hadn't met Man yet, she already adored her in her heart. Only after joining the Zhou family did she realize that the family hadn't had a daughter for several generations. She had originally hoped her own belly would be successful and produce a daughter, but one son after another popped out, nearly making her depressed. Who would have thought? Xiaoxia would be the successful one. Chen Fenghua whipped out her phone and started calling. Hello? Every baby girl style you have in the store, send me a set of each. What size? For a 1-month-old baby girl. Yes, that's right. It's for my granddaughter. I want them all of them, and all the toys too. As long as it's something a baby girl can use. By the lot, Chen Fenghua was already desperate to go see Man. She reached the door before realizing her husband hadn't followed. What are you standing there for? Come on, let's go see our granddaughter. Who was the one saying they weren't going just now? Why are you so eager now? Wait. My dad won't let us go over right now. He says to wait until the day of the full moon banquet. Chen Fenghua's face instantly dropped. Dad is really something. How can he do this? Being a father himself, yet he won't even let us get close to our own granddaughter. Chen Jiangwo patted her shoulder, feeling that he shouldn't be the only one suffering. Dad said, if we don't listen and insist on going now, he'll tell Man later that we tried to keep her parents apart. Do you think Man will still like us then? Is he even their biological father? But Man, that nickname sounds quite nice. What's her formal name? Zhou Jiangwo spread his hands. I don't know. Dad didn't even tell you that? Well, even if we can't go openly, can't we go secretly? I remember there are quite a few trees planted in the garden. We can see if we climb a tree. Chen Fenghua chuckled and walked off. That evening, Grandma Chen and Grandpa Zhou contacted each other. The butler secretly let them in. The two of them avoided the butler and headed for the bedroom. They found a large tree outside the window, set up a ladder, and climbed up. Sitting on a branch, Chen Fenghua took out binoculars from her waist and looked through the window. Can you see? Can you see her? Zhou Jiangwo shouted from below her. Heavens, the master and mistress are actually climbing trees, just to see the little young miss. The butler, watching from the side, wondered if he should prepare an air mattress. What if they fell? The butler took out his walkie-talkie, and asked the maids to bring an air mattress over, place it under the tree, and inflate it. That way, they wouldn't have to worry if they fell. The butler silently gave himself a thumbs up. As expected of a gold medal butler like me. Oh, what's the rush? I see her. Our man is so cute. Let me look a bit longer. Chen Fonghua couldn't bear to look away. Look at how soft she is. I really want to pinch man's cheeks. Zhou Jianguo grew anxious. Is that enough? My turn. Hurry up, or man will be going to sleep soon. Chen Fonghua had no choice but to hand him the binoculars and climb down first. Zhou Jianguo hurriedly climbed up the tree. Sitting on the branch and looking through the binoculars, the first thing that came into view was a brooch on a chest. Wait, is man wearing that kind of clothing? Does man wear a brooch when she's so small? He slowly moved the binoculars up and locked eyes with his father's cold, dark gaze. Zhou Jianguo nearly died of fright. He clutched his heart, lowered the binoculars, and stared back at old Master Zhou, lowering his head guiltily. It was one thing to lower his head, but he realized his wife had already run away. Wait for me. You could have at least given me a warning. How did old Master Zhou find them? It was because he heard man's inner voice. Man sensed a fervent gaze coming from outside, landing right on her. Only then did she think to herself, why does it feel like someone is watching me from outside? Old Master Zhou heard this, and that was when he walked over to the window to look, seeing it was his own son. His mouth twitched violently. That brat. I told him not to come, yet he jumped walls and climbed trees just to get here. Old Master Zhou turned to go downstairs. Zhou Jianguo immediately jumped from the tree, landing on the air mattress. He scrambled up and ran for his life. Don't tell him I was here. The butler gave the maids a look, and they immediately carried the air mattress away. By the time old Master Zhou came down, only the butler was left there. The butler smiled and said, Old Master, they've already gone. Old Master Zhou snorted. They run faster than rabbits. Don't let them in again. Wait until man's full moon banquet. On the day of the full moon banquet, the Zhou family mansion was a scene of bustling activity. Even though old Master Zhou was no longer in power, he was still a legendary figure in high society. With invitations handwritten by old Master Zhou himself, every family invited showed up. Who would dare not to? In this eastern city, the Zhou family was one of the very best. Old Mrs. Zhou was helping man get dressed. Man was well behaved and didn't move around, cooperating perfectly. Old Mrs. Zhou cooed over her, picking her up and kissing her cheek. Grandma, let me hold her. Muwan was worried old Mrs. Zhou would get tired, so she reached out to take the baby. Yes, great-grandma, you should rest. Let my mom hold me. Otherwise I'm afraid you'll get too tired. Seeing even man was saying so, old Mrs. Zhou handed her to the mother. Muwan held man and went down the elevator with old Mrs. Zhou. When old Master Zhou saw the elevator doors open, he immediately walked over and took man into his arms. Old Master Zhou carried man over to his old war buddies. When they saw the little treasure in his arms, every one of them was incredibly envious. It's a girl, you lucky old dog. We thought that by the time you were in the ground, the Zhou family still wouldn't have a girl born. Who would have thought? Old Master Zhou gave a soft humph. I told you all when we were young, that in my direct bloodline, there would definitely be a girl. I didn't lie to you, did I? Hey, how come I don't see any of you bringing your great-granddaughters over? Some of their great-grandsons refused to marry. Others had married but only had sons. They had daughters and granddaughters in the first half of their lives, but who knew they'd lose out on the great-granddaughter front? They had no great-granddaughters, leaving this old fellow to gloat. Alright, come and see your little sister. One old comrade brought his great-grandson over. Someone asked, Old Chu, is this your great-grandson? Old Master Chu nodded. He's only a little over a year old. He can speak now, and his walking is okay. Chu Haoran walked stumblingly over to old Master Zhou. The little guy shouted great-grandpa excitedly. Slow down, little guy, don't bump into our man. Little Chu Haoran blinked his eyes, finger covered in drool, as he cooed in a milky voice, Man. Where did this little baby come from? Let me see. Man excitedly tried to sit up to look. This little baby's voice actually sounds quite nice. Old Master Zhou quickly crouched down to let her see. The little fellow was wearing a tiny suit. His belly was round, and his pupils were very dark, clear and bright. When he saw Man, he let out a wow. Old Master Chu laughed heartily. Haha, that's right. It's your little sister. Haoran, this is little sister Man. Little Haoran reached out to poke man's little fist. Man opened her 5 fingers and grabbed his little finger, blowing bubbles from her mouth. This little finger is so soft. Seeing Man wanted to play with him, old Master Zhou called over the nursery specialist to hold her while she played with little Haoran. He was getting on in years. He couldn't handle crouching for too long. Man made awoo sounds at little Haoran, and little Haoran innocently called her sister. It was a truly pleasant sight to behold. Many people attended this full moon banquet, and old Master Zhou soon became busy. Zhou went nowhere. He stayed right behind the nursery specialist watching Man-Man ever since that incident at the hospital. They wouldn't let Man-Man be alone with any outsider, fearing a repeat occurrence. As more and more people arrived, the nursery specialist took Man-Man and little Howren to the second floor first. Zhou followed them up. When Zhou Tianyu arrived, old Master Zhou was chatting with others. He went over to say hello. How come I haven't seen my little niece? Old Master Zhou gave a faint hum of acknowledgement. Zhou Tianyu looked around curiously. Man-Man is upstairs. Xiaozhe is with her. Zhou Tianyu let out an "oh." Then, I'll go see my little niece too. Old Master Zhou nodded. Thinking Xiaozhe was there, nothing should go wrong. Zhou Tianyu went to the second floor and asked a maid, quickly finding out where Man-Man was. When he entered, the specialist was holding Man-Man and talking to little Howren. Little Howren's speech wasn't very clear yet. The word he said clearest was sister. Man-Man didn't know what the two little ones were talking about. Zhou Tianyu greeted Zhou. Zhou Tianyu and Zhou were the same age. With Zhou Tianyu being older by a few months, the two of them addressed each other directly. Tianyu, you're here. Where's my sister-in-law? She hasn't arrived yet. She said she wanted to pick out a good gift for Man-Man. You know, Man-Man is the first girl in our Zhou family. Your sister-in-law takes it very seriously. Zhou Tianyu smiled. I'm really envious of you. I've always wanted a daughter but never had one. Zhou looked a bit smug. Heh, who told me to be so amazing? Zhou Tianyu chuckled. Right, you're the most amazing. Grandpa favors you the most too. Zhou scratched his head. It's okay, I guess. I feel Grandpa is good to all of you too. Zhou Tianyu walked over. Can I hold Man-Man for a bit? Of course. Zhou didn't see anything wrong with that. Dad, do you really dare to let him hold me? Believe it or not, he will pretend to accidentally drop me on the floor. Zhou was startled. The moment Zhou Tianyu reached for Man-Man, he kept his hands right under Zhou Tianyu's. Wait, I just remembered. You've never held a baby before. You have to be very careful. Don't drop my daughter. Zhou Tianyu had originally intended to pretend to accidentally drop Man-Man. After all, he could just say he didn't have kids. And it was his first time carrying a baby down the stairs. But he never expected that Zhou would be so vigilant when it came to guarding the child. Dad, I was scared to death just now. I'm still small. And I can't look after myself yet. You must protect me. Don't worry, daughter. With me here, nothing will happen. Zhou Tianyu knew that today's plan would not succeed. Zhou, you're keeping too tight a watch on your daughter. Zhou smiled. Tianyu, if you had a daughter, you'd definitely treasure her more than I do and keep an even tighter watch. Zhou Tianyu didn't argue. He handed Man-Man back to Zhou. Forget it. I won't hold her anymore, okay? As Zhou took her back, Man-Man's heart finally settled. Zhou Tianyu went down to socialize. Zhou broke out in a cold sweat. He said to the nursery specialist, later, no matter if I'm here or not, if anyone wants to hold Man-Man, do not agree, except for my grandparents and my wife. Got it? The specialist didn't know what had suddenly happened to him but still nodded. Yes, I understand. Mr. Zhou wouldn't leave her for a second, even when he had to use the bathroom in the room. He double-locked the door first, did his business as fast as possible, and ran right back out. Little Howren touched Man-Man's face with his tiny hand. Man-Man cooed in response. Why does this little guy always touch my face? When everyone had arrived, old Master Zhou came up to take Man-Man down. He held Man-Man with immense pride. Today is our Man-Man's full moon banquet. I have an announcement to make here. The 50% of shares I hold will all be given to Man-Man. As soon as old Master Zhou finished speaking, the crowd below broke into an uproar. Zhou Tianyu and the others silently clenched their fists, their faces full of disbelief. They had always known the old man really wanted a daughter, but they never expected a great-granddaughter would cause him to give away 50% of the shares. Ah, great-grandpa, you're way too generous. I love you. Old Master Zhou couldn't stop smiling. Oh, Man-Man loves them. Is this what a great-granddaughter is like? She's just too cute. Once old Master Zhou decided something, there was no room for negotiation. After announcing the news, old Master Zhou held Man-Man to cut the cake. Then let the guests begin their meal. He turned and took Man-Man upstairs to unwrap gifts. A safety lock. It's solid gold. Not bad. Man-Man sat in her great-grandpa's arms with her bottle, screaming frantically in her heart, ah. It's new gold. The things these rich families give are so good. Old Master Zhou raised an eyebrow. He opened them one by one, reading each out loud for Man-Man to hear. Woo. I'm a happy Man-Man. Great-grandpa, you picked such a good name. Full of wealth, full of happiness. A full and perfect life. I was praised by Man-Man. Old Master Zhou's grin almost reached his ears. By the time old Master Zhou finished reading them all, Man-Man had finished her milk too. She started to feel sleepy right after drinking. Man-Man was still small and couldn't control her instincts. By the time she woke up, it was already night. During the nursery time, Man-Man woke up and someone went to make her milk. Man-Man held her bottle with her tiny hands to drink, and heard Zhou say, Grandpa, giving all 50% of the shares to Man-Man. Isn't that a bit unwise? Old Master Zhou gave a cold snort. Why is it unwise? If the other 50% weren't in the hands of your father and your uncles, I'd wish I could give all the shares to her. Muwan didn't know about the conflicts in wealthy families, but she also felt Grandpa was being a bit excessive. Grandpa, Aja's cousins, are married and have children too, right? Won't you distribute some to them? She was naturally happy the elder favored her daughter, but he was too biased. She was worried it would bring a potential crisis to her daughter. Old Master Zhou looked at Muwan, his expression softening slightly. Wan, Grandpa knows what you're thinking. But don't worry, Grandpa has already made plans. Grandpa will raise Man personally. With Grandpa's love, they absolutely won't be able to hurt her. This is Grandpa's promise to you. Grandpa, why are you so harsh with me, but so gentle with my wife? Grandpa, I'm your actual grandson. In Old Master Zhou's eyes, Muwan was a benefactor to the Zhou family. She gave birth to such a cute great-granddaughter. She was simply an angel sent from heaven. A mere grandson naturally couldn't compare to Man. Old Mrs. Zhou also smiled and spoke. Yes, Wan, don't you worry. We will protect Man. Mom, don't worry. While I'm with her great-grandpa and great-grandmother, they wouldn't dare do anything. It's you and Dad who need to be careful. Why don't you two move in here too? I'd feel more at ease watching over things. Man was worried her simple parents would be manipulated by outsiders. Zhouja immediately spoke up. Then Wan and I will also stay at the old mansion. That way we'll be more at ease too. He really couldn't bear to leave his daughter either. Fine. Old Master Zhou naturally had no objection. Zhouja stood up, preparing to go get some toys for Man to play with, but just as he pulled the door open, he saw his parents pressed against the door eavesdropping. Mom, Dad, what are you doing? Zhou Jiangwo and Chen Fenghua stood up awkwardly. No. It's nothing. We won't disturb you then. Zhou Jiangwo turned to leave, but Chen Fenghua rushed in with one stride and grabbed Muwan's hand. Her tears came down instantly. Wan, Mom is so sorry. Dad said before that you were from an ordinary background and said you weren't good enough for Xiaojia. It's Mom's fault. Mom is here to apologize to you. Auntie, please don't be like this. Actually, Auntie, you weren't wrong. I really am just from a normal family. Compared to your family, it could be said to be an ordinary background, but as for the part about not being good enough, I now think you were wrong about that too. Feelings shouldn't be measured by family background and money. Although Chen Fenghua's words were harsh before, she had never actually done anything to Muwan herself. She was only standing from a mother's perspective, thinking for her own child. Before, she didn't understand, but now that she was a mother herself, she understood it a little bit. If in the future, Man insisted on marrying a son from a poor family, to go suffer with them, she would feel heartbroken just thinking about it. One's own child naturally deserves the best of everything in the world, but she wouldn't go out and insult people. On this point, her choice was different from Zhouja's mother. Chen Fenghua knew deep down she had hurt Muwan's heart before. Wan, you're a good child. You have a good heart. It's our Xiaojia who isn't good enough for you. I hope you can forgive. Oh, no, you don't necessarily have to forgive me. I only hope you can let me see Man, okay? Hearing this, Chen Jiangwo also looked at Muwan with anticipation. Auntie, I've actually stopped dwelling on those past things. It's been so many years. Some of the resentment has faded. After all, these years, they never appeared in front of me, put me through anything, or did anything to me, except for the first time we met, when they adamantly refused to let us be together. You are Man's grandparents, so of course you can see Man. With old Master Zhou there, Muwan wasn't worried they would hurt Man. Regarding their incident of climbing trees to peek earlier, she had also heard about it from the butler. People who would do such a thing surely wouldn't hurt Man. Thank you so much, Wan. Thank you. Compared to you, I'm the one who is vulgar and ordinary. Muwan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Auntie, don't belittle yourself like that. I don't want to compare myself with anyone. Auntie, you are very good too. Chen Fenghua wished she could go back to the past and slap herself twice. Wan is such a good person. If she had agreed back then, would her granddaughter have arrived even sooner? After Chen Fenghua finished her words of thanks, she walked over on tiptoe to see her granddaughter. Zhou Jiangwo followed her over too. The two of them saw Man, and simultaneously let out a loving smile. They say the bond with grandchildren is strongest. They only took one look at Man, and they were ready to give her their very hearts. Man, this is Grandma's full moon gift for you. Chen Fenghua had someone make a set of solid gold longevity clothes, plus bracelets, necklaces, anklets, and rings, all of them pure gold. Chen Fenghua held them up for Man to see. Man, do you like them? Asterisk slurp slurp asterisk. I'm about to drool. How are you all so rich? I like them. Man loves them so much. The smile on Chen Fenghua's face faltered. Had she just heard a voice? She turned her head to look at Zhou Jiangwo. Zhou Jiangwo also looked at Chen Fenghua with a face full of shock. He had heard it too. Man, what else do you like? Chen Fenghua asked tentatively. Money. I like everything that's valuable. You can just give me a black card directly. It really was Man's voice. Chen Fenghua was beyond excited. Looking at old Master Zhou and the others' expressions, it seemed they hadn't heard it. Starting today, everyone else has to stand aside. My husband and son can both beat it. Dad, can you let me hold Man for a bit? Be careful, don't drop her. Yes, don't you worry. Grandma's sweetheart. Grow up quickly. When you grow up, Grandma's jewelry will all be yours. Wife. Let me hold her too. Zhou Jiangwo reached out his hands to Chen Fenghua. Chen Fenghua held Man and wouldn't let go. You never even held our son when he was born. Do you even know how to hold a baby? Don't you dare drop my Man. Go back and get a rag doll. Practice with that for a while first. Old Master Zhou took Man back. Don't you have work tomorrow? If you don't make money, what will my Man spend in the future? Dad, I don't need to go to work. I'm sleeping here tonight. As Chen Fenghua spoke, she walked out. I'll go tell someone to make the bed in the guest room. After Old Master Zhou sent them all away, he chatted quietly with old Mrs. Zhou. We need to keep a closer eye on Tianyu lately. I sent someone to investigate him. He really is in contact with our competitors. This kid's heart has probably long since left the Zhou group. And the Zhou family. Old Mrs. Zhou gave a sigh. Tianyu's grades were very outstanding in school. And he was good to us too. Who would have thought he'd have other motives? Of course he has other motives. He's not even third uncle's biological son. As soon as Man's thought came out, Old Master Zhou and Old Mrs. Zhou gasped in their hearts. They had wondered if children get their own ideas when they grow up, or if they were being led astray. But they never imagined. He wasn't of Zhou blood at all. Third son's wife. What audacity. To actually do such a thing. The two of them felt very uneasy. Something like this. They didn't know how to tell the third son. But it had to be said to him. They couldn't let him continue to be deceived. If old 3 has such a thing going on, what about old 1 and old 2? Old Master Zhou said, have the eldest and the others come over tomorrow. The next day, old Mrs. Zhou had the butler call the eldest and the others over. The instruction was for them to come alone, without any drivers. They weren't surprised by this. Sometimes when the old man wanted to have a meeting with them, he would arrange it like that. I wonder what Dad wants. Chen Fenghua said, don't mind it. Anyway, I'm not going down. I'm staying here to accompany the mother. She wasn't curious and didn't want to pry. She just wanted to be here with the baby's mother. Who cares what it's about? I just heard that Dad is taking the baby down. If you want to stay upstairs with Man, that's not going to work. His tone was full of schadenfreude. Chen Fenghua was suddenly speechless. How did I find such a husband? In the past decades, she had never doubted her own vision. At this moment, she actually doubted her past judgment a little. How hateful. Was her husband always such a vengeful person? Narrow-minded. Just because he can't be with Man, he has to make me unhappy too. Half an hour later, Old Master Zhou took Man to the drawing room downstairs. Chen Fenghua bit her handkerchief. Her face full of indignation. Muwan didn't even know. Auntie had such a cute side. She wanted to comfort her, but when she thought about the fact that her own time with her daughter wasn't long either, she immediately hugged herself in self-pity. She'd better feel sorry for herself first. In the drawing room, Old Master Zhou held Man and looked at them. I called you here today to tell you one thing. The butler handed out documents to them. Inside was the paternity test. For Zhou Tianyu and the third Zhou son, Zhou Li. It showed they had no blood relation. Zhou Li was stunned. Dad, what do you mean by this? You shouldn't be asking me. You should go back and ask your wife. Old Master Zhou swept a cold gaze over them. I found out about old 3's. What about yours? The eldest Zhou brother quickly spoke up. Dad, my wife definitely didn't betray me. He said that, but his heart was also panicked. Eldest uncle, don't you worry. Your wife didn't cheat. But isn't there a bit too much dark energy on your face? I can see it clearly even from this far away. Dark energy on the face. This is an omen of death. Dying? How? Cold sweat broke out on Old Master Zhou's forehead. Zhou Lauda and the others suddenly looked up at Man. They had all heard it just now. Zhou Lauda wasn't sure. He planned to test it out later. Just then, Man spoke again. Third uncle, it's not just a green hat on your head. It's a whole green field. Congratulations. Zhou Li had thought only Tianyu wasn't his child. But it turned out none of them were. Zhou Li's heart went cold. When the second Zhou brother heard this, he burst out laughing. Second uncle, you're still laughing? What are you laughing at? Your wife's brother is in love with her. He and your wife aren't blood related. But your wife doesn't like him. However, he's a madman. If you don't watch out, he'll kidnap your wife. Old Master Zhou. None of his sons had an easy life, did they? What had he done to deserve this? Looking around. Among the 4 sons, only Zhou Jiangwo was fine for now. The other 3 each had their own miseries. Old Master Zhou called out, Jiangwo. It scared Zhou Jiangwo so much his whole body jumped. Don't look at me. What are you doing? My sons are all mine. He was more cautious than these brothers. Back then, worried about a hospital mix-up, he had paternity tests done after going home. His children were definitely his. Fine, forget it. Go back and investigate yourselves. Old Master Zhou said this. But he wasn't worried anymore. Fortunately, only Zhou Li's son wasn't his. The other son's children belonged to them. Relief. Eldest, come with me. Zhou Lauda immediately stood up. Oh, okay. Although Zhou Lauda was over 50, the Zhou genes were good. He looked like he was in his 40s. He was wearing a well-tailored suit and gold-rimmed glasses. As he followed Old Master Zhou,